up, the more it has to go downwards. To rise in life, we must be grounded. SPOA School and Junior College has always derived immense pleasure in organizing events to tap the hidden potential of both students and teachers. Hence, we unveil before you Ignite 2015. The best way to pay tribute to our birthland is to string the musical notes together and express the pleasure and respect through lyrical rhyme. We now have our student choir comprising of students from SPOA School and Junior College, SPOA Matriculation Higher Secondary School and SPIOA Model Matriculation Higher Secondary School for singing the Tamil Thai Varthu. I kindly request you all to stand up. Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination and charm to our life. Yadam Ore Yavarum Kelir is a song which praises our society for its uniqueness and togetherness in spite of being diversified. Here we present before you the students to render this special song Yadam Ore Yavarum Kelir.
Yeah. friends for that melodious number. Achievers never expose themselves, but their achievements expose them. A lamp does not speak, it introduces itself. Let's tread on the path of light and knowledge from ignorance and ill will. A lamp not only enlightens our path, but it also enlightens others who approach it. I kindly request the chief guest, Dr. T.P. Shashikumar, to lighten the Kuttuvilakku. Social activist and educationist to lighten Kuttuvilakku. I request Dr. T.V. Venkateshwaran, Head of Audio Visual Department, Vigyan Prasad, Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, to ignite the Kuttuvilakku. Lighting up this function in a grand manner. The mind should not be a warehouse to store hatred, anger or jealousy, but a powerhouse of happiness and sweet memories. Ignite 2015 is surely going to open vistas of wonderful memories to reminisce. I kindly request Mrs. P. Rajeshwari Menon, Administrator, SBIOA Educational Trust, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning to all. It is great joy and honor for me to welcome you all to the 3-day mega literary, cultural, documentary films, book and food festival. The SBIO Education Trust has always been a front runner in the field of education. The Trust always believes that education can never be confined to the four walls of a classroom. Living in a world that is changing faster than the arms of a clock, it has become imperative that our students move with the times and be prepared for this change. Science and technology has advanced so much that new developments are coming up before one even knows about the previous one. Our students are up against global phenomenon of change, and the only way they can keep abreast is to be aware of the world around them. This can only be done if schools and teachers encourage them and put them on the path of discovery and research and give them the thirst to learn. The SBIO Education Trust is doing just that, opening up the portals of learning, not from just the textbooks, but from real-life examples of people who have excelled in their walks of life and are worth emulating. Ladies and gentlemen, dear students, it is a great honor for you and for us that we have in our midst today such stalwarts as Dr. T.P. Shashikumar, space scientist, Shri Rahul Ishwaran, author and social activist, Dr. T.V. Venkateswaran, scientist, Vigyan Prasad, Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, and the pillars of this trust, Mr. A. Krishnan, the President, Mrs. Thomas Franco Rajendra Dev, the Secretary and Correspondent, Mr. R. Balaji, the Associate Secretary, Mr. Bhavani Shankar, the Treasurer, the Correspondent of the Junior College, Mr. K. Senthi Kumar, the Correspondent of the Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Mr. Ravi Chandran, the Correspondent of the Model Matriculation School, Mr. A.V. Joseph, the correspondent of the Madurai Matriculation School, Mr. R. Sethu, the correspondent of the Coimbatore Matriculation School, Mr. G. Selvaraj, the correspondent of our Trichy School, Mr. M. Ashok, and all other management members of the Trust to be here with us as we inaugurate the great event that will give our students the opportunity to listen to almost 90 great personalities. It is my pleasure to welcome and to introduce Dr. T.P. Shashikumar, space scientist, educationist, motivational speaker, thought leader, writer, and mediation master. Dr. T.P. Shashikumar worked as a scientist in the Space Department for 2 decades and also served as Deputy Director at the Directorate General of Security, Cabinet Secretariat, New Delhi, before taking voluntary retirement in 2009. If he had continued, he would have reached great heights in the Indian government, but he opted against it as he always had an inner passion to teach and to show direction to the otherwise directionless youth of today's generation. He started giving motivation lectures in various educational institutes throughout the length and breadth of India and abroad and explained to youngsters the value of education and the value of knowledge. He taught personality development and leadership qualities to tens of thousands of youth. He also conducted week-long summer sessions in Hyderabad and Kerala on the request of the students. Meeting him made a lot of difference to their lives. His varied interest in learning has also encouraged students associated with him to take anything and everything that comes to them as a learning experience. Hence, all his students started loving knowledge, respecting our rich culture and heritage. He also conducts teacher training sessions as he believes that teachers are the ones who make tomorrow's citizens. He teaches them what is effective and effective teaching, educational techniques, etc. He has already reached more than 3 lakh teachers. He also held a position as director of UGC Academic Staff Council College of Calicut University, Kerala, one of the pivotal positions in the UGC setup. His passion for life, learning, investment for future learning or learn in full enjoyment has made him to author books like Life for Simple, Life for Love, Life is to Live, Life Reflections, etc. His books are so close to heart that those who read them will find solutions to all problems, highly motivational and grievance redressing tips. Anyone who wants to listen to his sessions could also get them through his YouTube channel, which has over 400 of his uploads. His learners group on Facebook is EFIL, a civil aspirants group called Elakavya for Future India Leadership. He's a good poet, writes in many languages, he knows all the South Indian languages and can converse in Bangla and Gujarati. And being fluent in Hindi, he can reach any part of remote North India too. His articles and periodicals are simple and clear, carrying deeper thoughts within. This could be the reason his book, Life Made Simple, was credited as a modern Tirukural by the reviewer, Professor Akavur Narayanan from Delhi. He has received numerous awards like the President of India Cash Award for the best paper presented at ISTEM Congress Varanasi, one among the 15 scientists who represented India for the ACFM at Hong Kong, the SPEC Award for the best paper presentation at ISRS Symposium, Guwahati, selected for the factory acceptance test for the high precision Vexel scanner at Austria, the Bharat Rakshak Award for the best essay on India in space vision, Vagmi 2004, the Best Public Speaker Award of Tapasya, a literary and cultural forum in Kerala, to name a few. Sir, your presence here will truly motivate both our students and teachers to look at life differently. We very warmly welcome you to Ignite 2015. I'm indeed honored to introduce and welcome Dr. T.V. Venkateswaran once again to our school. The impact of Dr. Venkateswaran's speech at last year's national seminar can never be forgotten. Dr. T.V. Venkateswaran is one of the leading science communicators in the country. He's at present working as scientist in Vigyan Prasad, Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi. He has written many popular science books in Tamil and English and has published many research papers in national and international journals. Under his guidance, Vigyan Prasad has produced more than 500 television programs on science. A graduate in mathematics, he has done his master's in history and a PG diploma in science and technology communication. He is a well-known science writer and was instrumental in founding Tulir, a very popular science monthly in Tamil. Dr. Venkateshwaran took to teaching and instituted a postgraduate course in Science and Development Communication at the CDIT Trivandrum. Presently, he is studying Science and Media Interactions and the way science and technology impinges our everyday life. He regularly publishes research papers on the public understanding of science. He has been active in the civil society, especially by taking science to the people. His research interest includes history of science popularization in Tamil Nadu and critically examining the parts played by science communication in the fabrication of varied worldviews, particularly in the Indian cultural cosmos. Sir, we very warmly welcome you and look forward to another unforgettable, enriching learning experience. I take pleasure in introducing our very young guest, Shri Rahul Ishwar. Many of you must be familiar with the face of Mr. Rahul Ishwaran. He has been a voice to reckon with in many television channels as a popular, powerful panelist. Mr. Rahul Ishwar is a social activist and an author. Being a multi-talented personality, he had participated in various news discussions about social, cultural, and political issues in the state. After completing his formal education, he went abroad to do a postgraduate degree in economics at the prestigious London School of Economics and successfully completed the course. Apart from a professional training in economics, Mr. Rahul Ishwar has specialized in topics such as philosophy, psychology. Following these specializations, he has authored several books on topics as Vedanta, education, lifeology, philosophy, Indian culture, etc. Lifeology, very few of us know it, is a branch of philosophy that deals with the study of human life. In clearer terms, it can be defined as an inquiry into the nature of human life. Through this branch of philosophy, people tend to study lifestyles, relationships, belief systems, education, etc. As a young activist, he got involved in a project sponsored by the Kerala state government to increase the quality of education in the arts and science colleges in the state. He has also conducted campaigns for tribal rights in the Malaya Raya tribal community. Mr. Rahul Ishwar is a panelist on national news media, Times Now, CNN, IBN, NDTV. The author of 4 books of philosophy and education, he undertook lecture tours on Indian philosophy across 12 nations, state coordinator for the Youth State Commission of Kerala, director of Thoughts Academy that implements ASAP education program in Kerala government, presented 6 papers in national and international seminars. Sir, it is a pleasure to welcome you, and I'm sure the young students here will be inspired by your achievements. A warm welcome to the members of the Management Committee of SBIO Educational Trust, the hosts of this 3-day event. This education trust has a unique distinction of being formed by a trade union and running schools of the highest quality. Founded by Mr. E.A.G. Moses, the first correspondent of the school way back in 1979, the trust has carried forward his vision and has grown into its present stature by far-sighted planning and absolute commitment to the cause of education. The president of the trust, Mr. A. Krishnan, is known for his astute understanding of the needs of the school and ensuring that it is provided. Our secretary and correspondent, Mr. Thomas Franco Rajendra Dev, who is the General Secretary of the SBIOA and recently elevated as the All India President of the ISOF, who despite his association commitments, strives to make all our schools excel, not just academically, but also grow into wholesome citizens who respect and conserve nature and humans. His belief in the power of the youth makes him want them to get the best out of school, and hence such events as Ignite 2015 are conceived. He believes that it is the social responsibility of every educational institution to send out into society truly and completely educated individuals. Mr. R. Balaji, the Associate Secretary, was earlier the correspondent of the Model School and then the Matriculation School in Chennai, and is known for his attention to details and his absolute commitment to improving the quality of education. Mr. Bhavani Shankar, the Treasurer, ensures that all schools are provided with the best of infrastructure and makes sure that all requirements are attended to well in time. The correspondents of all our schools, Mr. T. Sentikumar, Mr. A. Ravichandran, Mr. A. B. Joseph, Mr. R. Sethu, Mr. G. Selvaraj, and Mr. M. Ashok work tirelessly to nurture and bring into each of their schools to the highest level of excellence, be it in sports, academics, culturals, life skills, the entire gamut. It is their constant support and encouragement that brings out the best in the students and the teachers. To all of you, sirs, a big thank you for the continuous and constant support and a very warm welcome. I extend very cordial welcome to all other dignitaries of the stage, the principals and teachers of our sister schools from Madurai, Trichy, Coimbatore and Ernakulam, principals of our schools in Chennai, presidents of the school PTA, past presidents of the PTA, participants from various schools, teachers, my dear students, and teachers from other schools, our office bearers of the trust, the previous office bearers of the trust, Mr. Saravanamuthu and Mr. Parthasathi, members of the planning committee of Ignite 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Addison said, what sculptors is to a block of marble, education is to the human soul. Let events such as this sculpt and chisel our teachers and students into fine masterpieces of art that will survive the vagaries of time and life and stand tall, sturdy, and beautiful as permanent monuments in this wonderful world. Once again, I welcome all of you to Ignite 2015, our mega festival of literature, cultural arts, documentary films, books, and food, and hope you experience all that we have to offer. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your warm note of welcome. We would like to honor the chief guests and the guests of honor. May I request Mr. R. Sethu, correspondent, SPOA Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Madurai, to present mementos in token of our love and gratitude. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. G. Selvaraj, correspondent, SPOA Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Coimbatore, to present the plaque to our guests. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. A.V. Joseph, correspondent, SPIOA Model Matriculation Higher Secondary School, to present plans to our guests. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. M. Ashok, correspondent, SPIOA Matriculation School, Trichy, to present books to our guests. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. R. Sethu, correspondent, SBOA Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Madurai, to present mementos in token of our love and gratitude. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. G. Selvaraj, correspondent, SBOA Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Coimbatore, to present plaque to our guests. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. A.V. Joseph, correspondent, SBIOA Model Matriculation Higher Secondary School, to present plants to our guests. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. M. Ashok, correspondent, SBIOA Matriculation School, Trichy, to present books to our guest. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. R. Sethu, correspondent, SBOA Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Madurai, to present memento in token of our love and gratitude. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. G. Selvaraj, correspondent, SPOA Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Coimbatore, to present plaque to our guests. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. A.V. Joseph, correspondent, SBIOA Model Matriculation Higher Secondary School, to present plant to our guests. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. M. Ashok, correspondent, SBIOA Matriculation School, Trichy, to present book to our guest. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. A. Krishnan, President, SBIOA Educational Trust, to deliver the presidential address.
Dr. T.P. Sasikumar, Space Scientist and Educationist, Mr. Rahul Iswar, Author, Social Activist and Educationist, Dr. T.V. Venkateswaran, Head of Audio Visual Department, Vigyan Prasad, Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, the guests of honor, our Secretary and Correspondent, Sri D. Thomas Franco Rajendra Dev, our Associate Secretary, Sri Bhavani Sangar, Sri Balaji, our Treasurer, Sri Bhavani Sangar, our correspondents, Sri T. Sendi Kumar, Sri Ravichandran, Sri A.V. Joseph, Sri G. Selvaraj, Sri R. Sedu, Sri M. Asok, all our principals on the dais, administrators, Mrs. P. Rajeswari Menon, Mrs. P.C. Selvarani, management committee members, trust members, the veteran leaders, our former president of our educational trust, Sri Saranamuttu, Sri Parthasarathi, our former secretary and correspondent, Sri Manogaran, our former management committee member, all the dignitaries who are available here for this inaugural ceremony, vice principals, academic supervisors, teachers, non-teaching staff, and my dear students. Very good morning to one and all who have assembled here for this excellent inaugural ceremony of our mega event, 3 days event entitled Ignite 2015, Sowing the Seeds of Tomorrow. The Management Committee of SBIOA Educational Trust joins Mrs. Rajeswari Menon, welcoming you all for this wonderful event. Ignite 2015, it is going to be very educative, very informative, and the program we have designed in such a manner that we impart education in the field of literacy, culturals, then there is going to be documentary films and also books and food festival. As you are all aware, our SBIOA Educational Trust, we are committed to overall development of the children. We are also taking care in seeing that our children are second to none in the society, and whatever way it is possible, we are providing all kind of facilities, all infrastructure, so that our students are finding it very easy and they are developing themselves for the development and welfare of them. We strive to enrich the knowledge of our children, both academically and also in all fields, in the field of sports and games, extra and co-curricular activities also. The purpose of this 3 days festival is to create awareness in various fields, which will be of very useful to our children and also their parents. Each and every item of the program has been carefully designed in such a way that it will make the children understand the importance of key issues facing our country today. We have invited for this mega event eminent speakers, scholars, environmentalists, social activists, scientists, etc., so that our children would be educated, motivated, molded, and benefited by their valuable speeches and interactions. I am very sure the mega event will yield more than desired results and will enrich the knowledge of our children to a great extent. I would appeal to all the children to make use of this mega event and visit the exhibition stalls, which will be of very useful to you. I acknowledge with thanks the services rendered by the administrators, principals, CM, Accounts and Administration, Vice Principals, Academic Supervisors, and the entire team of teaching and non-teaching staff for their excellent service in making elaborate arrangements and also making this a grand and wonderful show. Today we are going to have these programs in 3 halls, in this hall also, and Indira Gandhi Auditorium and also Kamarajar Arangam, and there is going to be different kind of programs. I would appeal to you all to visit the stalls, visit the shows, so that it will be very useful to you and it will enrich your knowledge. With this, I wish this grand show of our Ignite 2015 a grand success. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for those words of enlightenment. Ignite 2015, the brainchild of our secretary and correspondent, Mr. D. Thomas Franco Rajendra Dev, has created waves of excitement in us SBOians. Now, let's hear it from the man himself. Here we have Mr. Thomas Franco Rajendra Dev, secretary and correspondent, SBIOA Educational Trust, to give us an insight about this fest.
Our beloved President, Sri Krishnan, the management committee members, one of the founders of the trust, Mr. Partha, former president of the trust, Sri Saravanamuthu, former secretary and correspondent, Mr. Partha, the PTA members, PTA presidents, the guests and dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and my dear members of the SBIOA family. As mentioned by Mrs. Rajeshwari Menon, this trust was created in 1979, and probably it is the only trade union which is running 9 schools with 31,000 children, not only within the country, even across the globe. I don't think there is any other trade union running such an institution. This institution continues to spread the dreams of our past leaders, including Sitaram and E.A.G. Moses, who conceived this idea of creating an educational institution. Today, what SBI does, tomorrow it will be replicated by others. We have seen, 5 years back we started roof gardens in the matriculation school. Today, almost every school in this city has roof garden. We started eco-awareness program as an annual event every year in the schools. Today, eco-awareness has become a buzzword, and many schools, many institutions are involved in it. Last year, we organized a seminar, a national seminar on challenges in school education. Today, similar events are being conducted by the other schools and educational institutions. We have a dream. We want to create a dream. The dreams of our forefathers have not come true. In 1947, in the Red Fort, Jawaharlal Nehru, in the midnight he talked about the tryst with destiny, in which he talked about removing the tears in the eyes of every citizen in this country. They had a dream that there will be a society with equality and equity. We had a dream that education will be available to all. We had a dream that health care will be available to all. We had a dream that employment will be available to all. But today, where we are, as per a report published by World Bank, 140 million people in this country are living below the so-called poverty line, who do not have adequate food to eat. If we look at the education, education has become so commercialized. No developed country charges for education. Education is free in most of the countries. That is a basic requirement. But today in our country, education has become the biggest business. To get the admission into a school itself is so difficult. Getting into the college becomes much more difficult. And we privatize education. But our governments are running liquor shops. Today, after the introduction of the unified syllabus, we thought an equal quality of education will be available to all. But unfortunately, a craze for CBSE syllabus has started. The enrollment in the matriculation schools are coming down. Number of CBSE schools are increasing, where the people don't mind paying any amount of money to get a quality education. Right to Education Act has been implemented only in paper. Today the poor people, they do not have the faith and confidence that they can get into these elite schools. They don't have confidence that their children will be treated as equals. And government has not bothered to reimburse the fees where children have been admitted without fees. The government is giving up what it has to do, take care of the education of every citizen. And today in our country, the environment is becoming so bad, and our government is talking about giving the best of agricultural land to the corporates with the introduction of the land bill. Once it is implemented, 1/3 of the agricultural land, best cultivable land, can be acquired by the government and handed over to the corporates. And we talk about Make in India. We privatize the public sector, we privatize everything in this country, and we talk about Make in India. So many contradictions. Today, when we have this 3-day program with the theme of education, gender, and environment, we want to have an education which will be of equal quality for all the citizens of this country. This dream has to come true. Today, when we talk about gender, 70% of the women within the global population, if we take the poor, 74% of the poor are women. 67% of the women are the workforce which are available in the world. but the income they earn is just 10%. The property they own is just 1%. In our parliament, only 8% women are ministers. In the state assemblies, only 7% of the women are ministers. If we take account of all the MLAs, it is just 12% of the MLAs and MPs in this country. Today, cases like Nirbhaya case has become very common in this country. We say that we worship women. We give all the goddesses names like Saraswati, Kali, Lakshmi, and we say that we worship women. But are the women treated as equals? When we look at the environment aspects, today natural disasters are increasing. You have seen what has happened in Nepal. You have seen the tsunami which happened. And today, the 2-minute noodle has become a poison. The food we eat are becoming poisonous. Milk is cheaper than water. To get quality water has become so scarce. So these contradictions have to be addressed. We have great confidence in the future generation. We have faith and confidence in the young minds of this country that these contradictions will be addressed by them. For that, this educational institution is trying to play a catalyst role for a better tomorrow, for a better world, for a better humanity, for which we have arranged this confluence of the experienced and the youth. Dr. T.P. Sasikumar, Dr. T.V. Venkateswaran, Dr. Ishwar, and young people like Kartika, Nivedita, who are just in the +2 or equivalent standard. This mix of people will be able to share with you the vision for a future, a dream for the future. Jack Ma, the man who, from an unknown corner in China, where people never talked about entrepreneurship, an English teacher, today could create a history in the world through his Alibaba.com, which became an overnight hit. He says that never, never, never give up your dreams. So dear friends, let us create our own dreams and never, never give up our dreams and look for a brighter tomorrow. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful insight. To transform is to change something completely and usually in a good way. When the society is transformed, we attain higher levels and the education imparted should be of a wider visage. New methodologies, new trends and added incentives. I am pleased to invite Dr. T.P. Sasikumar, space scientist and educationist, to enlighten us on the topic Education for a Transformed Society.
Namaskaram to the chair of the program, the secretary and the brain behind this great event, office bearers of SBIO, invited teachers, pillars of different academic institutions, my dear teacher friends and students. I am delighted to have two people beside me, where I just met Dr. Venkateshwar in the morning, and I was recollecting meeting him few years back, approximately 8 years back, on a science communication workshop and a All India radio program or somewhere in Delhi when I was with the Prime Minister's office. I'm so glad that I have my good young friend Rahul Ishwar, whom I met first time when you came with your mother to meet me at my brother's place in Trivandrum. And then we recently met inaugurating a academic institution. World is very small. People keep saying world is very big. I feel world is very small. That's why we keep meeting the same faces every now and then. I was wondering when I got an invitation from Thomas G for attending this program, how State Bank of India people landed upon me, where I am not a very popular person. I am not in any of the so-called experts list. I am a person who works for students and teachers in the academic institutions. Anyway, I am so glad that Rajeshwari ji has done a wonderful job of looking at my website, reading out my credentials, which was made by one of my most brilliant student. That was a gift given to me by one of my student. So my strength is my students. To be very frank, I have not read that description because the website was recently uploaded and formatted in a better style. And why to read on me? So I just left it. I recorded today and sent it back to my student saying your website is working fine. Okay. I have reached out to maybe more than 8 lakhs of children so far at various parts of India, and I have greatest experience of reaching to the northeast of India while seeing a fantastic auditorium, a great vision by State Bank of India, creating such a infrastructure. This year starting 15 days was in northeast, Arunachal Pradesh, where traveling 20 kilometers takes 3 hours. Schools have no science labs. There is only one mobile science lab vehicle which runs from one school to another school. Few years back when I went there to address the 9th class children, I love the title of today's program called Ignite. My program name was Prajodayat, a Sanskrit translation for Ignite. The Prajodayat program for 9th class children to ignite them into the higher learning and science learning in particular. And I'm so glad last year when I met one of the students, he is representing India for the International Science Festival. And he says, sir, you are the person who ignited me for this. That's the greatest return what we get. And that's the reason when such programs are organized, we travel for half an hour talk, maybe 20 hours is spent. That is just to see at least one or two of you get ignited. The real ignite happens only to very few. It's not because of facilities are not there. This example I gave because he comes from a place where lesser facility, but he could probably could have become much higher if higher facilities are given. But within the limited resources, he is doing wonders. I don't know how many of you have watched what America imports from India. There is a YouTube presentation. If you get time, go and Google it. what imported from Scotland, whiskey from Scotland, etc., etc. He says, and then says, from India, they import IITians. The best 3 universities abroad is equal or less than equal to one of our IITs. I'm sure you must be hearing a lot of bad things about India. India is not good, India is corrupt, India is bad, India is not developed, all blah, 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 blah. All these are stupid, useless. I'll tell you, a postgraduate program in the best universities abroad cost you not less than 70 lakhs in America, not less than 40 lakhs in UK. But in India, it's very cheap. Indian education is cheap, but high quality. That is why you go to any part of the world, you will see great professors from India. A friend of mine who is from Calicut taught Britishers how to speak English for 35 years. And he is one of the most credited professor who speaks 17 languages fluently. Not mother tongue, other tongue. You understand? I remember in one of the program when I went, a British professor was introduced saying he can speak English. He can speak Hindi. When I was to be introduced, I said, don't talk about my biodata, just add there, Dr. Shashi Kumar can speak English. Because when a foreigner can speak Hindi, we take it as great credit. But we Indians speak better English. We don't consider it as a credit, right? Don't ever bend your head down saying we are from India, we are bad. I'm so glad I was reminded by Thomas G on the 1947 Nehru flag hosting and all that. I keep going to different children and ask them, where was our father of nation during that time? He was not in Delhi, he was not assisting, he was not hosting the flag. He was standing in other border where it is not in the history, not too much written on him. Against 50,000 British soldiers standing on the Pakistan border to maintain non-violent situation, it became so violent. And there was one man who stood by non-violence by all means in the yoga style, stood alone, and there was no violence in that border. That's why Lord Mountbatten made the statement, one person half naked is much powerful than a single man border army. What is the name given to Mahatma Gandhi? A single man border army on one side against 50,000 soldiers with all the weapons could not maintain violence. Understand the power of a human being. Each one of us are powerful. We had a great educationalist. I don't know how many of you have read India, My Eternal India, written by Vivekananda ji. You must read at least once. If you read 100 times and understand at least some message given by him, I salute each one of you. It's such a depth of knowledge. Understand that is very, very difficult. The whole vision of education is written in that. If I have some credit of standing here and talking, it is just because I must have read that book 100 times. But still I am not able to understand. He has written what education is. There is nothing which we can speak on a transformed society or a present society or a society which was existing in India for a long time. This is a nation where Sanatanam, Nitya Nutanam and Chirapuratanam, the oldest of the oldest and the best in the foremost, most advanced knowledge combined together. That's called a Sanatanam. The Bharat is a nation of Sanatana Dharma, Sanatana education, therefore everlasting. And we should have the credit of having such people who understood the essence of it and transformed for the next generation. And I'm sure The best word for education is man-making. That's what Vivekananda ji says. Education is man-making. Unfortunate that Indian education is not that great, not because of the system, not because of the facilities are not available, it just because most of our teachers are not very good. I keep talking to teachers and giving training to teachers and keep saying them, and I'm so proudly say this because I also own a school in my native that was built by my grandfather 1937, and I am the owner of one of those schools in Kerala. And I see most of my relatives who don't get any other job becomes teacher in that school. Because most easiest job profession to get is teacher's job today. Kerala, it is much worse. They have to pay donation to get a teacher's job. That's the only place probably people are paying money to become a teacher. I'm not saying teachers are bad. Why teachers are not very good? One reason, they are paid very less. I wish teachers are paid very good to attract the best. Now this could be the last option. I meet a lot of children, especially after a TV program where some career counseling programs or something is given, hundreds and thousands of calls will come. All of them want to know what I have to study to get a job. Immediate answer. If it comes on WhatsApp, I have got a programmed key which just press the answer goes. Don't study anything, you will get job. The higher educated, you have bitter problems. If you are not educated, probably you get better jobs. It has become worse because people think that education is to get job. I doubt. Education is not to get job. What is that you require in life? You ask anyone. There are only 3 requirements for people. Vedandago brahmanaha satchatriyo vijayi bhavet vaishyo dhana samardha shudra sukham apniyat. There are only 3 requirements. Vedandago brahmanaha. If you want knowledge, you are a Brahmin. I go to different schools and ask teachers, what is that you want? I have never seen a teacher saying, I want education. I want knowledge. I don't see teachers paying money to get trained for getting extra knowledge. Because once they become teachers, they think that's enough for them. Students, why are you studying? They will say, I want to become famous. I will tell you, if you study more, you will not become famous. I am a PhD holder. PhD itself means perspiration, humiliation, degradation. It doesn't make you permanent head damage. That's a result of PhD. PhD also means permanent head damage. I'm sure if I write back my thesis and say that whatever I submitted is wrong, again I will get another PhD. Because education today is not the ultimate knowledge. We had great educators. If you want to be a good teacher, listen to Kaudilya. Listen to Kaudilya, the Chanakya who made one Chakravarti, the kings of kings. A good teacher is so powerful, he can make wonders. Kaudilya is one teacher who stopped Alexander coming to India. He conquered a different part of the world. When he was supposed to step to India, it's just one single man, Kaudilya, who could stop him. That's the power of a teacher. I don't know how many good teachers. I pity on teachers because we celebrate Teachers' Day when a teacher became a president. I remember saying the same thing in front of 3,000 teachers in Chennai a few years back. I was a guest for a Teachers' Day program. I was invited for a Teachers' Day program. I said, I will not come for an invitation for an inaugural program. Give me one full day seminar. And I had a full day seminar in Chennai. 3,000 teachers were attending. I said, it's shame to celebrate Teachers' Day when teacher became a president. You should celebrate when president resigns the job and become a teacher. I'm so glad we had one president who love to be a teacher. Whether he has become a teacher or not is different. I'm being passionate to be a teacher, and I have a book on teaching, pedagogies and practices for web and net learning, adaptive learning. There's only one book in adaptive learning in India that's authored by me. How to become a teacher who become adaptive to the situations. How do you make your teaching class to the best of interesting? I remember one of the passionate teacher who said, went to the class next day morning, I said, oh my children, I taught you yesterday mathematics and whole thing was wrong. And the student said, yes ma'am, we knew that whatever you are saying is rubbish and useless. But still, we allowed you to go because you are passionate. I am sure the students will start loving teachers not because of their knowledge, just because the teachers are loving. They have passion. Every teacher should become an advocate for their own subject. Every teacher, the other day I was giving a teachers training program in Alleppey. I told them, if you want to be a 5th class science teacher, before going to the class, before starting the academic year, at least read 1st to 4th class science subject first. If you don't know the background of the students who are sitting in front of you and you are trying to teach what you know, that's the biggest mistake you are doing. Therefore, teaching becomes only a teaching classroom activity, but not a learning classroom activity. I think the next generation is not a place where teachers have a role. In the transformed society, what has to change? The teaching style has to change. We are, unfortunately, all the railway stations have got computerized program. All the bus conductor also operates electronic equipments, but I don't know how many of our schools have got changed from blackboard to a whiteboard, blackboard to an electronic board, and we use a lot of multimedia PowerPoint presentations. I remember getting trained at JNU at the CEC, Consortium for Educational Communication, on multimedia teaching methods, where a teacher's profession has to change from writing and rubbing on the board to a produced documentary which you play in your classroom and trying to explain it. The multimedia classrooms where the students will ask only questions probably. Now today teachers will ask questions, teachers will give answers, and students have no questions. If the classroom is not a place where you can create questions from the students, that will come only when you have quest for knowledge. How many of our students have quest for knowledge? How many of them will ask questions? We are supposed to start our day with a prayer as per the Bharatiya Shastra. From the bed, when you wake up and sit onto the floor, on the bed, you are supposed to look at your own palm and chant a mantra. Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule Sthita Gauri, Prabhate Karadarshanam. Karagre vasate Lakshmi. Everybody will understand this is Lakshmi. We represent money like this. Karamadhye Saraswati. You should have Lakshmi, money in your hand, Saraswati in your hand, and strength in your hand. What a fantastic idea. Your education is in your hand. Your money is in your hand. Your strength is in your hand. It is not in somebody's hand. If you are not a good student, teachers are not responsible. It is not the facility that is responsible. It is a self-motivated person only can have everything. And see the tradition of Bharata, where we have given the minister or mistress for education is Saraswati. But her husband is also given a ministership. That is research, production, creativity, innovation, ideas. That is his department. Why that is given? If education has to be imparted, you should also become a researcher. Don't think that teaching is only a reproductive activity. Teaching is highly productive and innovative activity. Unless a teacher is a creative, innovative researcher, the classroom becomes boring. I'm sure the next generation, the teachers have to be at this style. We keep comparing with the different nations. We should compare with China. Every teacher is paid very good salary there. But only one thing, teacher's job is not guaranteed. Every year they will have to write examination to show that they are qualified, educated. They retain their qualification. Communication skill is good. Their ideas are good. They can produce good result. Then only they will get reappointed. We have got a high social security in this country. This is one of the reasons where we are not performing very good. I'm sure if your job is at risk and you have to perform well, you will have problem. I keep meeting a lot of children, they will say, I don't want to become a teacher. You ask young children who are at the younger age, they will say, I want to become a teacher. After some time you ask them what you want to become, they will say, I don't want to become a teacher, I want to become doctor. I keep telling those children, you go to a doctor, you will see they will write MBBS, FRCS, MD, everything, and below that they will write Professor of Oncology, comma, this university. They have got higher value. That means they are basically teachers. Why did you go for MBBS? Because I don't love become a teacher. And what do they become? When you become in a medical college as a doctor, you are supposed to be a teacher there. Understand, in any profession, you cannot avoid teaching. There is no profession in the country, if you are excelling well in that profession, you become by default a teacher there. So if some student says, there are many students, he keep talking to me and saying that I don't like to be a teacher. I start scolding them for half an hour. And then ultimately they will bound to saying that, yes sir, I will become a teacher. Don't scold me now onwards. The first thing what you require to do, if you are a learner, you are a teacher. Therefore, every student who is in a classroom is a teacher in front of a teacher. So I look upon my students as teachers. There are a lot of things which I learn from my students. Wonderful, the youth who have got a lot of equipments with them. The other day my student bought one Kindle for reading. And evening I got a message saying, sir, I am going to replace it and getting a new version has come. It just delivered in the morning, and evening she has to return it back because the new version has come. The equipments are changing so fast. I don't know how many of our facilities in the best of the best schools have got these sort of an activity where we'll replace equipments in the grade. I'll tell you, this is not at all essential. I was fortunate to be guest of different when I was in Delhi, before starting the office, I used to be in the assembly guest in one of those schools. I have visited 300 schools in Delhi area alone in 2 years. So every alternate day I am in one of those schools. Because I keep talking to them, please invite me, I want to talk to my children and students. And I remember one of the best schools credited as great. The director happened to be a retired brigadier who was working under me, and therefore he took the privilege of taking me as a chief guest for one of the assembly program, and he wanted to show that his school is one of the best schools. He has done all the arrangements fantastic. And then after the session he asked me, sir, how is our school? I said, not good. Then he asked me why. I said, before coming to this school, I just sent messages to email to all the teachers, 40 of them. And none of them replied. That means all of them have email, but they are not equipped for utilizing the modern facilities. I'm sure if the teachers are themselves not getting into the next transformed society, education will not change, even if you make a lot of infrastructural difference. So teachers have to be equipped, they have to be taught, they have to be trained. This is what is to be done. I left my job from Government of India and went to Palakkad, one of the remotest place, to teach 8th class children. One guarantee all the teachers and the principal said was, none of our students will pass 10th class in the normal sense, and there is a say examination, you can repeat exam and all of them will pass. Because government's job is to make students to pass 10th class. I said, give me 90 of them. I picked up 90 of them, spared my holidays. Only for 8 months I was there. And I'll tell you, out of 90, 37 of them passed with A plus in all subjects. So I'm sure if a good teacher keeps saying that I can make a difference in life of students, who can motivate students, who can ignite good children. I'm so glad that your title says Ignite 2015 and sowing the seed for tomorrow's generation. If that can be done in academic institutions, the brightest teachers, equipped well, trained well, ignited well, motivated well, and they become the torch bearers for tomorrow. I think that's my message which I have to tell you. And I'm not a teacher by profession. I don't have a bed or mud in my degree, no beard or med in my degrees, but I love teaching, and I have a place where I live cool, calm in a serene village, 200-year-old house, where it's open for any students or teachers who wanted to learn, come and stay with me for a few days. I've got next 3 months coming out, different batch of students coming from Gulf countries, because July, August is vacation for them. They spend a lot of time in my house. They spend 7 days. That's a module camp which I run. Don't ask me what we teach. We teach life, L-I-F-E. And people keep asking, what is life? Life is live in full enjoyment. No, not for academic people. Academic people, life means learn in full enjoyment. And what is life? Learning is an investment for future earning. And if you learn well, I'm sure you can earn well. And you become, Uttar Pradesh will become Vedanta go Brahmanaha Kshatriyo Vijayi Bhavet Vaishyo Dhana Samruddhaha. White purple. You can earn well, you can become famous. I'm sure every student aspires to become like this. That's tomorrow's world. People want to become famous, but fame will not stay in you unless you have got good brain. So keep your brain sharp, make your fame tight, intact with you, and earn a lot of money and enjoy life. These cannot happen together, but if you can balance this, your life becomes wonderful. I'm sure all students are really great. Physically, you have to be strong. That needs a lot of exercise. Tomorrow is going to be, day after tomorrow is going to be the World Yoga Day. I'm a practitioner of yoga for last 35 years. I'm a meditation master from Himalayas. On this body, 30 years, there is no single medicine. That's a guarantee which I give. And weigh me now, I will be 60 kilogram. If I am not 60 kilogram, change the weighing machine, because I am calibrated well. You have to be, every teacher has to be an acharya. There is no point in teaching yoga and meeting a doctor next day to treat yourself. Don't do that. Be a practitioner. A teacher has to change to an acharya. Yadyada jaradi sreshta tatta devetorochana sayat pramanam gurute logastatanu Seeing your acharya, the students should feel, I should go behind him. If that can be a teacher, I'm sure the next generation will come behind you as good direction, change bearer. That's what I wanted to tell you. I'm sure the world is going to change, and I look upon India with a great future in education. And I wish, like Nalanda, Takshashila, we have got great institutions coming out. We have got a lot of plans by the government to start different medical, technical institutions throughout India, where we could support large number of students at easy access, and best students always have the greatest opportunities to learn in India. I wish the Ignite 2015 a great message to take forward, a happy 3 days of stay here and entertainment. When he had sent me a letter, he had sent two options, either in the beginning of the program or in the end of the program. I wish the invitation should have been spend 3 days here. I would have been so glad to be here for 3 days. I'm so glad seeing the large group of audience, variety of programs starting from food. I'm sure the food court will be more crowded than the libraries and bookshops. Because there was a nice survey done in most of the education institutions, how much crowded, not the school, but the higher education centers, how crowded are the different facilities. I happen to be the executive director of one of the engineering colleges. So I did a statistics of seeing how many people are in the classrooms, 75%, because attendance 75% compulsory. And how many are in the bathrooms and toilets? 100% utilized. And toilets, 100% utilized. Library, 5% utilized. But canteen, 150% utilized. More demand. Items will be sold. I'm sure you have got every activity here. Documentaries for learning and food for your physical, emotional, intellectual, social and spiritual aspects are covered here. All the fivefold development is what is that I teach my students. You can reach me on internet anytime. Just type in Dr. TPS. Temperature pressure second, that is TPS, Dr. TPS, top police service. I happen to be a top police service under Government of India. You could search me either as a scientist in temperature pressure second or as a police, top police service. You will reach me there. Dr. TPS. I have lot of friends on my Facebook. I've got nice groups of learning in Facebook. I'm the one who when introduced, I was told that about this book, Life Made Simple. This is a book came out of my discussion between me and my students. Wonderful questions from the students. I love children with a lot of questions and I love answering them. That's what I do. And if you don't get answer up to 2053, November 13, I will be there to answer you. After that, don't wait for my answers. So God bless you. I wish this interaction will ignite some of you and get back to me with a lot of questions. God bless you. Inshallah, we'll meet sometime.
Thank you, sir, for igniting our spirits and for making us proud of Indian culture and education. Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which can be used to change the world. But are we using it to the best extent? Well, that's a matter of doubt. I now invite Dr. T.V. Venkateshwaran, Head of Audio-Visual Department, Vigyan Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, to enrich you more on the topic Education, the answer to our woes.
Thank you, chairperson of this program, students, teachers, principals and others from other SBOA school, members on the dais. நான் என்ன பேசலாம் அப்படின்னு ஒரு கொஞ்ச நேரம் யோசிச்சுட்டே இருந்தேன். Finally I thought I will speak about food. Okay, so first program today was inaugurating that organic food sales counter. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம வந்து நிறைய ஃபுட் பத்தி பேசுறோம். In fact, Thomas Franco இங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும்போதே he also mentioned about noodles which is in news. So நான் வந்து நிறைய சொல்லணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை. If you have to look at food from a scientific angle, what can we say? You know, that's going to be in some sense a very, very, very brief summary of what I would like to share now. But நான் வந்து ஸ்டார்டிங் அங்கேருந்து ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண போதில்லை. I'm going to start with evolution. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இன்டராக்ஷனில் பல இடங்களில் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து யூஸ்வலி ஆஸ்க் மீ, sir, if evolution has happened in the past, then it should also happen in the future. right? I mean, if evolution was there in the past, then it should also happen in the future. Then what will happen to humans? How will human evolve? You know, this is a kind of a very standard question I get to hear in lot many interaction, and I suppose most of you would also have that question in your mind. Whether you ask it out or not is a different question, but it may be in your mind. If you go and look, human on the evolution eye, maybe let's say another 500 years, 1000 years, 10,000 years, later, human evolution eye, human nudiya manda perusai, because moolala nalla perusa valande, but body avasiyam illalla. Now you need not even walk. Do you know somebody has recently invented a kind of a gadget which if you put on your body, it will itself walk. You don't have to make an effort. Okay. So bodily movements necessity is kami agalam. So which means that you don't need to have a very strong body. Okay, big brain. Or a shiny cloth. In the Marda, if you look at science fiction films, futuristic human, that's how you will see it, right? With some antenna coming out of your head. But evolution is not about future. Evolution is about past. So evolution of the past la namakku enna theriyum அப்படிங்கறத பத்தி maybe I'll start and then I'll come to what I wanted to say. Evolution நம்ம word use பண்ணும்போது we usually use it largely in the context of evolution of life forms. But evolution is much bigger than life and life forms. கொஞ்சம் carefully யோசிச்சு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா you will also know that our cosmos evolved. The world we live in evolved. Our earth evolved. Our solar system evolved. Okay? So from our knowledge today, இன்னைக்கு நமக்கு இருக்கிற knowledgeல நம்ம பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்க, you can trace back the evolution from Big Bang, or what is generally referred as Big Bang. Almost immediately after Big Bang, there were various forms of energy. There was nothing called matter. நம்ம usually matter நம்ம சொல்ற material அன்னைக்கு இருக்குல்ல. So matter itself evolved as a first step. Then what we call as atoms evolved. I mean, if you look, there is something called helium flash. அந்த பீரியட்ல தான் huge amount of helium got produced. Then galaxies evolved. Then the initial kind of stars with something like about 1000 mass of sun, okay, that kind of huge giant stars evolved, and those stars died and new stars evolved. And I'm sure that you know that our earth is a third generation star, which means that there was a star which died, and out of that ashes came another star which again died, and another star came out. That is what is our sun. It's a third generation star, at least a third generation star. It is in this evolution higher elements came. Elements like nitrogen, or elements like uranium, elements like gold. All these things evolved much later. Then earth came, then the life came. If you look at this evolution, all this evolution is not biology. Right? The biological evolution is only the recent past. And the evolution that is taking place now, or I should say the new evolution that is taking place now, is not biology, but is cultural. So if you are looking from human angle, the evolution today is cultural evolution, which we fail to recognize. The cultural evolution, I mean, I can give a very long lecture. Given time, or simple, let me introduce. இப்போ நம்ம எந்த இயர்ல இருக்கோம்? What is this year? 2015. Suppose if we go back about 50,000 years ago, okay, 50,000 years ago, அன்னைக்கு வேர்ல்டு எந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்ல இருந்திருக்கும்? அன்னைக்கு வாழ்ந்த ஹியூமன்ஸ் எப்படி வாழ்ந்திருப்பாங்க அப்படி நம்ம பார்த்தா, லார்ஜ்லி ஒரு மேக்சிமம் 50 people இருக்கக்கூடிய குரூப். Do you know what is the population of Chennai now? What is the population of Chennai now? Something like a crore? More than a crore, right? So we are now living in a, I mean, at least most of us are living in a city like this with something like a crore population. Okay? In fact, your own apartment will have more than 50 houses. Huh? But if you go 50,000 years ago, every day, the maximum number of people that you will be able to see is 50, because that will be only 50 people in your group, and people were moving from one place to another in search of food. And the time, our mentalities were of one kind. When we see another group, most likely we thought them as our competitor, because irukra food is scarce. So if you are one group, there is another group, then you saw the other group as competitor. So you will have to fight with the other group. Sometimes you even thought people who don't belong to your group are not humans. They are a separate kind of living beings. In the thought process lende uruvanadhu ideas like, for example, caste, saying that that is a different caste, that is a different caste or a different community. Idhile uruvana idea da things like, say, for example, slavery, that you can keep another human being as a slave, something like, for example, an animal, and put them to hard manual labor. If you look at even in India, for example, literature of the past, or 1,000 years க்கு முன்னாடி இருந்த லிட்ரேச்சர்ஸ் அது மாதிரிலாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, almost many of them will tell you that people with physical disability, உடல் குறை இருக்கிறவங்களெல்லாம் அமங்கலம், அதாவது ஒரு நல்ல விஷயம் நடக்கும்போது உடல் குறை இருக்கிறவங்கள வந்து உட்கார்த்த வைக்கக்கூடாது. ஒரு விருந்து நடக்கும்போது அந்த விருந்துல உடல் குறை இருக்கிறவங்கள, கண் பார்வை தெரியாதவங்க அல்லது கை கால் வழங்காதவங்க, அவங்களெல்லாம் வந்து உட்கார்த்த வச்சு சமமா உணவு கொடுக்கக்கூடாது. பட் இன்னைக்கு நம்முடைய கருத்து அப்படியா இருக்கு? இல்ல இல்லையா? இன்னைக்கு what do we think? We think that irrespective of our differences, appearances, skin color or our background, we should also be treated equal. We have a different mentality today. Things like, for example, human rights. Things like, say, for example, that everybody should be treated equal, fraternity, sagodharthvam, or ellarkum justice கிடைக்கணும். Justice is not only for one small set of people, but justice is for all, and everybody is equal before justice. இதெல்லாம் ஆக்சுவலா இருக்கா இல்லையாங்கிறத பத்தி நம்ம டிபேட் பண்ணலாம். பட் we think it should be there, இல்லையா? We want it to be there. At least we make an effort to get a situation where everybody will get justice, everybody will be treated equal, etc. Right? Gender. இங்க இன்னைக்கு இந்த ஆடியன்ஸ்ல பார்த்தா little more than 60% are women. இதே மாதிரி ஒரு 200 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி எங்கயாவது ஒரு கூட்டம் கூடி இருந்தா, do you really think that 60% of that audience would have been women in any part of the world? No. This gender justice even in our own country, if you have to look at it, is a evolution that has happened, cultural evolution that has happened in the past 50, 60 years. Right? Education for women. Again, something that has happened in the past 50, 60 years. Education for all. Okay? That has also happened only in the recent past, all over the world. This is what we can see as cultural evolution. So, இன்னைக்கு actually நடக்கிறது என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா, it's cultural evolution. So, இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற importance is not much about biological evolution. இன்னைக்கு we don't talk much about, for example, cosmic evolution, because cosmic evolution உடைய impact on our everyday life is almost zero. Okay? If at all there is going to be any cosmic evolution, that's going to take millions of years. It doesn't make any sense in our daily lives. Similarly, if you are going to talk about physical evolution, that is again no relation to us. In same way, biological evolution, even if it is going to happen or is happening, actually has no impact on our life. Today, the strongest influence is the cultural evolution that is taking place, and we are in the midst of that cultural evolution. Let me continue this point a bit. Inga அந்த சமயத்தில் நமக்கு பசி அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு உணர்வு வரும். நம்ம உணவு சாப்பிட்டதும் ஒரு அடிக்குவேட் லெவல் உணவு நம்ம பாடிக்குள்ளே போனதும் இனஃப் உணவு வந்துருச்சு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி there is a shut off mechanism. லைக் நம்ம வந்து ஒரு பக்கெட்டில் தண்ணி நிரப்பும் போது பக்கெட் ஃபுல்லானது மூடிடுறோம் இல்லையா, அது மாதிரி க்ளோசஸ். இது வந்து ஒரு நம்ம பயாலஜியில் இருக்கிற ஒரு மெக்கானிசம். பட் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் திங் இஸ் நம்ம பாடியில் இந்த மெக்கானிசம் மட்டும் இல்லை, ரெண்டாவது ஒரு மெக்கானிசம் இருக்கு. அந்த மெக்கானிசம் என்ன அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, நம்ம ஒரு ரெஸ்டாரண்ட்ல போய் ஒரு நல்லா கட்டிட்டோம். கட்டி முடிகிற சமயத்தில் அந்த சர்வர் வந்து நம்மகிட்ட சொல்றார், சார் டெசர்ட்டுக்கு வந்து கசாட்டா ஐஸ்கிரீம் இருக்கு. நம்ம என்ன பண்றோம், இல்லப்பா என் வயறு நிரம்பிச்சு வேணாம் அப்படிங்கிறோமா, என்ன பண்றோம், அதை பார்த்த உடனே நமக்கு நாக்கு ஊறுது, வாங்கி சாப்பிட்றோம். இது ரெண்டாவது மெக்கானிசம். ஹை எனர்ஜி என்டைசிங் ஃபுட் பார்த்தா நமக்கு சாப்பிடணும் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு உணர்வு ஏற்படும். இது வந்து செப்பரேட் மெக்கானிசம். இந்த செப்பரேட் மெக்கானிசம் எவல்யூஷன்ல ஏன் வந்தது அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இப்போ டைம் எவ்வளவு, 11:30. இப்போ இங்க யாருக்காவது பசிச்சா என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? அஃப்கோர்ஸ் இங்க இருந்து எழுந்து போக முடியாது, கஷ்டம். பட் சப்போஸ் இந்த செஷன் முடிஞ்சிருச்சு, பசிக்குது, என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? ஒன்று பாக்கெட்டில் ஏதாவது ஃபுட் வச்சிருப்பீங்க, இல்லைனா கேன்டீன் போவீங்க, இல்லைனா ஃபோன் எடுத்து டயல் பிசா இல்லையா? 30,000 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி 12 o'clock உங்களுக்கு பசிச்சுன்னா நீங்க என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? யூ கேனாட் கோ ஹண்டிங். 12 o'clock விலங்கு எல்லாம் தூங்கிட்டு இருக்கும், ஹண்ட் பண்ணது கஷ்டம். ஓகே, ஸோ விச் மீன்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு 30,000 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி எப்போ உணவு தேவையோ அப்போ உங்க கையில உணவு கிடைக்கிறதுக்கான வாய்ப்பு என்பது இருக்குல்ல. ஓகே, எப்போ உணவு கிடைக்குதோ அப்போ நீங்க சாப்பிட்டுக்கணும். பட் இன்னைக்கு நம்ம இருக்கிற சிச்சுவேஷன், எனி டைம் எனி பிளேஸ் ஹை எனர்ஜி ஃபுட், இஃப் யூ ஹேவ் மணி ஆஃப் கோர்ஸ் யூ கேன் கெட் இட். ஸோ நம்ம we are living in a different situation. அந்த சென்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஸ்கார்சிட்டி, ஒரு 30,000 50,000 years ago ஃபுட் ஸ்கார்சிட்டி இருந்த ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில் whenever you see high energy good food, அப்போ நீங்க சாப்பிட்டீங்கன்னா, அப்படி அதை சாப்பிட்டு உங்க உடம்புல அது ஃபேட்டா ஒரு இடத்துல ஸ்டோர் ஆயிருந்ததுன்னா, whenever you are hungry, whenever you don't have any food, உங்க பாடி அந்த ஃபேட்டை எனர்ஜியா கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணி யூஸ் பண்ணிக்க முடியும். ஸோ அதுக்காக தான் நம்ம எவல்யூஷன்ல நம்ம பாடியில் அந்த செகண்ட் மெக்கானிசம் இருக்கு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மெக்கானிசம் இஸ் ஈஸிலி அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டபிள். எனர்ஜி இல்லை, உணவு வேணும், போதுமான உணவு சாப்பிட்டீங்க, ஷட் டவுன் ஆயிடுச்சு. தட் மெக்கானிசம் இஸ் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டபிள். த செகண்ட் மெக்கானிசம், வயறு ஃபுல்லா இருந்தாலும் சில ஃபுட்டை பார்த்த உடனே நமக்கு சாப்பிடணும்னு தோணுது. ஒரு சிப்ஸ் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் வரும் இல்லையா, என்ன அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் அது? ஒன்னு சாப்பிட்டு யூ கேனாட் ஸ்டாப் வித் ஒன் இல்லையா? ஏன்? பிகாஸ் அந்த ஃபுட் நம்மளுடைய செகண்ட் மெக்கானிசம் கிண்டில் பண்ணுது, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மெக்கானிசம் இல்ல. பசிக்காக நீங்க வந்து சிப்ஸை சாப்பிடல கூடுதலா, ரைட்? இட் இஸ் கிண்ட்லிங் யுவர் செகண்ட் மெக்கானிசம். ஸோ நான் ஒரு ஃபுட்டில் ஒரு ரைட் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ஃபேட், ரைட் அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் சால்ட், ரைட் அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் சுகர் கலந்து உங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஃபுட், ப்ராசஸ் ஃபுட் நான் உங்களுக்கு கொடுத்தேன்னா, இஃப் யூ டேஸ்ட் இட், the moment you taste it, you will have a feeling of wanting to eat more and more. You will have a feeling of wanting to eat more and more. You can't stop. இன்னைக்கு பெரும்பாலான ப்ராசஸ் ஃபுட் கம்பெனிஸ் பண்ணுறது அதுதான். மேக் a right mixture. ஸோ ஒரு தடவை நீங்க டேஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா, யுவர் பிரெயின் நோஸ் அந்த ஃபுட்டில் இந்த காம்பினேஷன் இருக்கு. ஸோ உங்க பிரெயின்ல அந்த செகண்ட் மெக்கானிசம் இஸ் ignited in a wrong way, not ignited in the right way like this program. Second mechanism la and the mechanism is ignited. So you can't stop. Whenever you see it, you have a craving for that. பார்த்த உடனே திருப்பி சாப்பிடணும்னு உங்களுக்கு தோணும். கொஞ்சம் கேர்ஃபுல்லா அப்சர்வ் பண்ணி பாருங்க. சிப்ஸ், சில பாக்கெட்ல வைக்கிற சிப்ஸ் தான் உங்களால திரும்பி திரும்பி சாப்பிடணும்னு உங்களுக்கு வந்து there is a crave. அதே சிப்ஸ் what I mean is that அதே மாதிரி பொட்டேட்டோல பண்ற சிப்ஸை வேற ஏதாவது ஃபார்ம்ல பார்த்தா உங்களுக்கு வரல. ஓகே, இட்ஸ் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் திஸ். இதே நீங்க வந்து வீட்டில் ஆர்டினரியா பொட்டேட்டோவை சீவி பண்ணீங்கன்னா, யூ டோன்ட் கெட் தட் ஃபீலிங் ஆஃப் வாண்டிங் டு ஈட் மோர் அண்ட் மோர். Because நீங்க வீட்ல பண்ணதுல there is no right mix of fat, sugar and salt. Okay. இந்த இடத்துல தான் cultural evolution question வருது. We are living in a situation where there is an abundance of food, provided of course you have money, you have wherewithal, you have access to it, more than what your body requires. You also have a social system which is purposefully making processed food which will get you addicted. So in the ஒரு situationல how do we live, how do we eat, what kind of food choices we make அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து ஒரு important question. ஆராய்ச்சிங்கிறது வந்து ஆகாயத்திலிருந்து குதிக்காது. So which essentially means நம்ம இன்னைக்கு what is the kind of right mix of food நம்ம சாப்பிடணும் அப்படின்னு நம்ம டிசைட் பண்ணோம்னு சொன்னாக்க வேர்ல்டில் இருக்கக்கூடிய எல்லா கல்ச்சர்லையும் ஃபுட் ஹேபிட்ஸ் என்ன, வாட் வேர் தே ஈட்டிங் ஃபார் வாட், ஒரு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஷியல் லேர்னிங் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அந்த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஷியல் லேர்னிங்லேருந்து வர எல்லாத்தையும் நம்ம யூ வில் ஹவ் டு கேதர், அதிலிருந்து வி மே ஹவ் டு ஒர்க் அவுட். ஸோ நம்ம இந்த மாதிரி கேதர் பண்ணி நம்ம பண்ணும்போது the idea is not to go back. முன்னாடி மனுஷன் என்ன சாப்பிட்டு இருந்தாரோ அதை நான் சாப்பிடுவேன், தமிழ்நாட்டில் சங்க காலத்தில் என்ன சாப்பிட்டு இருந்தாங்களோ நான் அதை சாப்பிடுவேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்றது இல்லை. It is to make from our experience choose the right kind of food which will fit our current context today. Okay, current contextல நம்ம என்ன பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னு நம்ம பார்க்க வேண்டியிருக்கு. இதுதான் இன்னைக்கு ஃபுட் அப்படிங்கிற இஷ்யூ முன்னாடி நமக்கு முன்னாடி இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கொஸ்டின். As I was pointing out, இன்னைக்கு the major factor, நம்முடைய everyday life affect பண்ற major factor is not biological evolution or physical evolution or solar system evolution or cosmic evolution, but cultural evolution. So cultural evolution தான் நம்முடைய லைஃப்ல மேஜர் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ், மேஜர் இம்பேக்ட், மேஜர் மீடியேஷன் பண்ணுது அப்படின்னு சொன்னா அந்த கல்ச்சரல் எவல்யூஷனை நம்ம புரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு முக்கியமான கீ சாவி எஜுகேஷன். பட் அன்பார்ச்சுனேட்லி நம்முடைய ஃபார்மல் எஜுகேஷன், மீனிங் டெக்ஸ்ட் புக் அது மாதிரி விஷயத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த ஃபார்மல் எஜுகேஷன்ல இந்த லைஃப் ஸ்கில்ஸ் இல்லை. ஐ மீன் இது மாதிரியான பல லைஃப் ஸ்கில்ஸ் இல்லை. நான் உணவு மத்தி மட்டும் சொல்ல, ஹவு டு வி live with people with different attitudes, people with different backgrounds. நம்ம இன்னைக்கு அப்படி ஒரு சொசைட்டில தானே வாழறோம். இந்த மாதிரியான எந்த லைஃப் ஸ்கில்ஸுமே இல்லை. இதெல்லாம் நமக்கு இன்னைக்கு தேவை. So if you have to look at education in a much more deeper manner, not merely learning to read, write or do some bit of maths, but going beyond that, இன்னைக்கு இருக்கக்கூடிய changing society-ல how do we live well, not just live but live well அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு question நம்ம வந்து அட்ரஸ் பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னா we need to rethink education in this fashion. How will we adapt to this changing cultural scenario? How will we face challenges posed in this cultural scenario? Okay, how will we protect ourselves from harms that are created by certain forces in this cultural milieu? இந்த கொஸ்டின்ஸை நம்ம சீரியஸாக கேட்க வேண்டியிருக்கும், சீரியஸாக அட்ரஸ் பண்ண வேண்டியிருக்கும். தட் வே வி நீட் டு ரீதிங்க், ரீவிசிட் எஜுகேஷன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு எனக்கு டைம் முடிஞ்சு போயிடுதுன்னு ஆல்ரெடி நோட் வேற கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. ஸோ ஐ வில் ஸ்டாப் ஹியர். தேங்க்யூ அண்ட் தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் திஸ் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி. தேங்க்யூ.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of wisdom, explaining beautifully the word evolution in all aspects. The El Nino effect, tsunami, tornadoes and typhoons are commonly used terms nowadays, and all these are the after effects of man ravaging nature. Do we have the time to wait and take things at our own pace? No. It's time to step up and do our part. I now call upon Mr. Rahul Ishwar, author, social activist and educationist, to share his views on the topic, It's Time to Act, Save Planet Earth.
18 minutes, 4 points. 18 minutes, 4 points. Whenever I start my speech, I always tell the time I'm going to speak and the number of points. 18 minutes, 4 points. One on human education, one on the individual, one on the nation, and connecting to the fourth point of saving earth. Honorable dignitaries on and off the dais, I salute all of them. For the want of time, I'm not going to details. The first one, when I was in school, when I was there, no, not to say hardly 20, 25 years back, my teachers used to come and give me an advice. You know teachers, in the 45-minute period, you may be very familiar with them. 30 minutes they take sessions, 15 minutes they advise, right? I had many teachers who take class for 15 minutes and advice for 30 minutes. But teachers, because of their love towards you, because of their intimacy and the want of you being acquiring greatness in life, they keep on advising. Right now I'm a teacher, but when I was a student, there was a one-line advice our teachers used to give us. All your teachers, all your seniors used to hear that one line. And that one line was, dear students, you have all been given same talent. You have all been given equal abilities. It is how you use it that really makes the difference. This was a one-line advice we used to hear for decades altogether. But teachers of today, teachers for tomorrow, give a slightly different line of advice. They say, dear students, you all have different abilities. It is how you identify and grow it that really makes the difference. If you understand the difference between these two simple English lines, you understand the greatest debate in the history of philosophy for the past 500 years. If you understand these two simple English lines in its nuances and depth, you understand the greatest debate in the history of psychology for the past 100 years. 20 years back, when I was in school, the line was, when all of your teachers were in school, their advice, the line of advice given to us were, dear students, you have all been given same talent, same ability. It is how you make use of it that really creates a difference. But teachers of today slightly change those words and they say, dear students, you have all been given different and unique talents. It is how you make use of it that really matters. This is the great paradigm shift that happened in our education regarding the individual. 300 years back, for the past 300 to 350 years, humanity believed in the idea of the great philosopher John Locke, who is very familiar with the people who have studied B.Ed. He used to believe that when we are born like this white paper. My family writes Rahul Ishwar, another family writes Chandrika, another family writes Joseph, somebody writes Mohammed. 3 E's create you. You are simply a white paper, a kora kagas, a blank sheet. And your experience, your education and your environment creates you. This was the vision we had. That's the reason why teachers used to say, you are all being given this white paper. It is how you write on it that really makes a difference. But with the advancement of genetic engineering, psychology, brain studies, we have come to understand that this white paper analogy, this white paper simile is a bit problematic. For example, if we take 100 students from the time of their birth, give them same food, same education, same uniform, same school and same college, by the age of 18, will they be the same? Will they like the same subjects? They'll be different. Somebody will be good in physics, somebody will be good in sports, somebody will be a good orator, somebody will be a good leader, somebody will be a good teacher. So basically this white paper analogy is no more, and right now our educational philosophy believes in the idea that you are unique. You are an absolutely unique individual. You are a person who is a special creation of nature or a god, whichever way you would like to call it. That uniqueness happens to be the cornerstone of modern education. This is one point you should remember. Because in the past century, if the philosophy of the past 300 years can be summarized into one sentence, that sentence is, men are born equal. And the philosophy of the coming centuries can be summarized into one sentence, that sentence is, not men are not born equal. It is an evolution from men are born equal to men are born unique. Men are born different. And in order to identify your uniqueness and position you according to that uniqueness is the challenge of the new teachers. The population of India is around 126 crores. The population right now of the world is around 700 crores. what might be the total population of Earth till now? Say for the past 1 lakh years in our community called Homo sapiens, roughly many people estimate that at least around 10,000 crore human beings have walked on the face of this earth. At least 10,000 crore human beings like you and me have lived and perished from this earth. And the modern science says, how many of you believe that you have some kind of a uniqueness from all of them? Okay, how many of you believe that you don't have any kind of uniqueness from all of them? I mean, can I know an opinion in between, please? Either you believe in that or you don't believe in it. But I believe, because there is a reason. Modern forensic science says in the past 10,000 crores, not even one person has your same thumb impression. Not even one person has your same retina scan. Not even one person has your same tongue impression. Not even one person has your same brain DNA and the individual structures. Have you ever wondered at the marvel of this nature? In this 1 centimeter, nature creates around 10,000 crore different permutations and combinations. And moderns, that's the reason why you might have taken Aadhaar, you might have taken, given your biometrics or passports. In this 1 centimeter, you can call it God, Allah, Yahweh, Tao, Ayyappa, Rama, whichever name you like to call. In that 1 centimeter, nature or God has given you such uniqueness, and identifying yourself about that uniqueness is the major challenge you are going to face as students. Second point is regarding education, and I would like to share to our teachers because I am also in the education field. When I was in 5th standard, I went to my teacher and I asked him, "Sir, which is the lengthiest word in English?" And he was a very curious person. He was a very interesting person because it was not a Google age and he was not in the know-how of it. And he told me, this question is not going to come for your next exam, so don't study. I said, "Sir, it is just to understand that I asked." He said, "I don't know. Why don't you go and find it out?" I almost took 2 weeks to find that word. The lengthiest word in English in the technical arena is a word called pneumono-ultramicroscopic silico-volcanoconiosis. Many of you might have heard. In the non-technical arena, the lengthiest word is called flossinose-nihilifilification, which means a person who doesn't give enough value for things. 25 years back, I took 2 weeks to find these words. Right now, how long will you take? 2 seconds. Go to Google, type this lengthiest word, you will have this word, you will have who coined it, you will have criticisms of this word, you will see another word called supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which is not accepted. Everything is at your fingertip. So the role of a teacher is to mold. Earlier teacher, the prime importance of teacher was an information giver. Now, a teacher is a combination of a teacher, trainer and a mentor, what in the inauguration piece is beautifully called an acharya. A teacher is a combination of teacher, trainer and a mentor. Teacher primarily oriented in knowledge, a trainer who is a skill imparter, and a mentor who can understand the individual beyond what that student understands and mold them into a holistic person. That is the relevance of a teacher in that aspect. And now I would request our teachers to go for holistic trainings like psychometrics, modern NLP, TA psychology, which will help us in understanding, measuring and assisting our students to realize their full potential. The third point, now connecting to our earth, the third point, saving the planet earth. You might have all heard of the argument, we should take care of our environment, right? We should take care of our planet earth. The most common argument, the most common proposition, the most common reason why people say is, if you ask them, why should we save earth? Why should we take care of earth? The general answer is, we should take care of earth for our coming generations. You might have heard, right? We have to take care of earth because of our coming generations. We should take care of earth for the future so that they will also inhabit and enjoy this earth. But this is the major problem that happened to our philosophical view regarding earth. How many species are there in the world? We human beings are only one in almost 8.7 million species that are inhabiting this earth. That means almost 86,99,999 other species are there on this earth. We are simply one in that almost if you roughly round it to 1 crore species that is inhabiting. And who has destroyed this earth to the most? It is we humans who have destroyed this earth to the most. We do have a special responsibility to take care of our earth, because earth, climate, atmosphere, they are facing drastic challenges. I wouldn't go to the extent of saying that we are going to face a kind of Qayamat, or face a kind of ending day, judgment day regarding earth. But definitely we have to take care of this earth, and we always talk about human rights. It's time human beings talk about human rights, animal rights, nature's rights. There is one particular quality human being has apart from all other animals in the world. We are something unique from all the other species. What are the, you can imagine any sort of answers in your own mind. What are the unique features that we have apart from all other animals? Some people will say we can laugh, but many researchers say chimpanzees have a kind of laughing tendencies. What is the one unique feature that human being has from all the other species? I would say one unique feature human beings have, unique, different, special from all other species, is we are the only species in the whole of known universe who can conduct seminars, who can conduct programs like Ignite, who can do symposiums. And it is our responsibility to do symposiums for the nature. It is our responsibility to conduct seminars for animal rights. It is our responsibility to take care. It is our responsibility for the forests. Because this one unique information assimilation, information communication, information storing and using it for the coming generations is one of the greatest achievements we have. Otherwise, how would this screen be possible? How would this pen be possible? We all know how to use a pen, but do you know how to create a pen? We don't know. Somebody has created, somebody has made it at some point of time. This great thing called mic. I absolutely know how to use a mic, but I don't know how to create a mic. So human beings at some point of time discovered a mic, they understood how it functioned, they coded it, they wrote it down, and they could reproduce to the future so that we can understand it to the fullest and use it, reproduce it in the future. So human beings have a special responsibility towards nature. And what is the greatest paradigm shift that is happening across the world regarding nature? The West, for the past 2000 years, believed in the idea, they believed in the idea that everything in the nature is created for the man. But Indians from time immemorial said, Mada Prithvi Putroham Prithviya. That means Mother Earth, we are simply one of many children. That perspective is a revolutionary perspective. That means we don't own the earth owns us. That means we don't have absolute right over everything. That means we cannot indiscriminately kill Mother Nature for whatever we have. We are responsible for it. Of course, we being the senior sons and daughters of the Mother Earth, we have some special privileges. But having said that, we should take care of our Mother Nature. And that perspective, otherwise we are going to face issues like climate variation, atmospheric changes, and many civilizations have been wiped out. Many nations, many cultures have been wiped out owing to this. So that one special attribute is one thing you have to take care. The fourth point, I have 4 more minutes. The fourth point is regarding our nation. You might all have seen beggars, right? You might have seen beggars on the road. What do you think an average beggar earns per day? According to your estimate, what is the average earning of a beggar per day? 1,000. Seems to be a very efficient beggar. Yeah. 500, 100, 500 again. 50 seems more realistic. Now we will go with her. We will go with her estimate. She says 50 rupees is the average income of a beggar in India on a given day. Of course, if it is near a church, mosque or a temple, it may increase. If it is on a rainy day, it may vary. But if we take the average income of a beggar as rupees 50 a day, according to 2007-2008 Arjun Sen Gupta committee reports, 77% of India lives under rupees 20 a day. One of the most significant and important reports you have to take care. 77% of India lives under rupees 20 a day. If the average income of a beggar is 50 rupees, even less than half of what that beggar earns is being earned by 85 crore people in our land, in our motherland. They don't have proper toilet facilities, they don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have education. You might have seen around 1 or 1:30, you will always have the feel of being hungry. When you are hungry, you don't feel like listening to any speeches. If it's around 1:30, you will really be feeling bored and nag with me because I'm continuing the speech. You will suddenly feel irritable. You don't feel happy. You will feel offended. And only when you have food, you will have that restoration of the mood back. If your food get delayed for 15 to 20 minutes, if you are this offended and if you are this irritated, how about those crores of people whose food are delayed by days altogether? If your food is delayed by 10 minutes and if you are getting irritated, what about those people who will only get food once in many days? We have a responsibility towards them. That's the reason why I would request this brilliant institution run by especially one of the premier banks of India, SBI, like in our corporate companies, we do have a corporate social responsibility. We should in our campuses have something like a campus social responsibility. You should take that campus social responsibility clubs, go to different places, conduct nature clubs, go to our old age homes, go to places where they need assistance so that you will understand and realize the effect of living in this world. And remember, saving planet Earth doesn't mean saving land alone. Saving planet Earth means saving humans. Saving planet Earth means saving mountains. Loving Mother Nature means loving rivers, loving mountains, loving our soil, loving our nation, loving the world, loving the humanity. Because Earth, or world as we call it, the globe as we call it, is a name that we give to the sum and total, to the summum bonum, or the everythingness that we have. And that responsibility of saving the planet should be inculcated in our education. And that responsibility is not a blind environmentalist fundamentalism. It is not a blind opposition to every developmental activity, but it is an informed choice of understanding that we need development, we need progress, we need buildings, we need infrastructure. Along with that, we should have a balance of saving nature. We should have a balance of understanding things. And I would like to end by telling one brilliant story from Swami Vivekananda, where you can take that instance in your life regarding your nature, your friends, or anything you choose. When Swami Vivekananda was in school, when he was Narendra, he was going with his grand uncle through the Bengal Sea, where there is a particular phenomenon in Bengal Sea where fishes are thrown out of the sea. So you know what happens when fishes are thrown out of the sea. They don't get their life oxygen and they start to get suffocated. When Vivekananda went there, thousands of fishes were scattered there who were struggling to breathe and was dying. So Vivekananda started to take fish and throw it back to the river, throw it back to the sea. So his grandfather asked with a cynical smile, what difference are you going to make? If you are just going to throw one fish, there are thousands of fish here, what difference are you going to make? When you throw one fish into the sea, another dozen fish comes back to the land. Vivekananda, taking one fish in his hand, said, I don't know what big difference I am going to make to the whole world of fishes, but at least for this one fish, this is going to be a sea of change. At least for this one fish, this is going to be a life-changing safe. In that way, our land needs that life-changing safe for more than 70 to 80 crore of people. In the world poverty statistics, we have around 250 crores of people who are poor. If you take the species, many species are on the verge of extinction. Only a human being can put things back to the order, because we have created and we have contributed maximum to the disorder. If I can take 20 more seconds to end, I would like to remind you for the past next 3 days, it is not what you eat, but what you digest. It is not what you read, but what you realize. It is not what you hear, but what you listen. And it is not what you dream, but what you do makes the difference. So listen well, read well, realize well, digest well, and act well for a better India in service of humanity. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for those thoughtful and inspirational words by telling us that it is time to act. The Battle of Waterloo was not won in a day, nor was it won single-handedly. Many a hand has worked behind the scenes of Ignite 2015, and all of them deserve a pat on their back. I invite our principal, Mrs. Radhika Uni, who through her actions inspire us to dream more, learn more, and do more, to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected chief guest of today's function, Dr. T.P. Shashikumar, scientist in Space Department and educationist, Mr. Rahul Ishwar, author, social activist and educationist, Dr. T.V. Venkateshwaran, scientist, Vigyan Prasad, Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, Mr. A. Krishnan, President, SBIOA Educational Trust, Mr. D. Thomas Franco Rajendra, Secretary and Correspondent, Associate Secretary, Mr. Balaji, Treasurer, Mr. Bhavani Shankar, correspondents of all school, management committee members, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, students, special invitees, good morning. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates vision for tomorrow. With great pleasure, I express my gratitude to Dr. T.P. Shashikumar. When a versatile person of such caliber graced the occasion, we are blessed. Sir, your talk has left all of us in awe, and for making us feel proud of being an Indian and motivating the teachers to enrich themselves. On behalf of everyone assembled here, I express my thankfulness. Mr. Rahul Ishwaran, a well-known social activist, TV personality, and a good orator, is the representative of this current generation. Your speech is sure to help the students to contemplate on how to use the variety of resources according to their talents. Your speech was thought-provoking. Saying thank you is more than good manners, it is good spirituality. Sir, we are honored with your presence. My heartfelt gratitude to you. Presence of Mr. T.V. Venkateshwaran is an enlightenment for all of us. Sir, your guidance in bringing out science as an enjoyable matter into the public is amazing. So we are grateful to you for the unique way of exploring science and expressing it as a fiction, and also explaining the mechanism of food consumption and the reason for why we like processed food. Your presence today brings to everyone the quote which I have: gratitude can transform common days into thanksgiving, turns routine job into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. We are indeed grateful to you, sir. Our president of the SB Educational Trust is a man of vision, a silent observer who is a strong moral support for us. Sir, on behalf of everyone assembled here, I express my thanks. Mr. Thomas Franco Rajendra Dev is a man who dreams big. His intent to provide a chance for everyone to express the social activities brings that wonder world into the school premises. We are very fortunate to have such a dynamic leader as our secretary and correspondent. This mega event, Ignite 2015, is his conception. Sir, we thank you wholeheartedly. When one is associated with the man of principle and dedication, one is disciplined and organized, and it brings meaning to life. Mr. Balaji, our associate secretary, is one such leader. Sir, we are grateful for your presence. Gratitude is a currency that we can mint for ourselves and spend without fear of bankruptcy. Our treasurer, Mr. A. Bhavani Shankar, is a treasure of chest of ideas and practices in the field of accounting. Sir, we are grateful to you. We are indeed fortunate to have in our midst today all the correspondents, Mr. Senthi Kumar of SBOJC, Mr. A. Ravichandran of Matriculation School, Mr. A.V. Joseph of Model School, A. Setu of Madurai School, and G. Selvaraj of Coimbatore School, and Mr. Prem Chandran of Ernakulam School, and Mr. A. Ashok of Trichy in our midst. I bow my head in gratitude. Administrators Mrs. Rajeshwari Menon and Mrs. P.C. Selvarani burned the midnight oil to shape this event. Their master stroke is seen in every details of the event. Feeling gratitude and not expressing is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Thank you, madams. Principals of all these sister institutions have joined hands and helped in linking all the schools to make this function a great event. My gratitude to them. A great team of vice principals, compartment heads, academic supervisors, and teachers of all SBS schools are the strength of the educational trust. This mighty contingent of efficient tutors are a force to reckon with, and hats off to you. My heartfelt gratitude to all the great pioneers of the SBIO Educational Trust who laid the strong foundation for this wonderful educational chain of class. Our students are our inspiration and the one who writes the school's name in golden letters. A big thank you to you all. I extend a special thanks to the Admasan students of the school from Attapadi for being with us. I'm thankful to all the well-wishers, management committee members, EC members of PTA, teachers and students of other schools. Your presence today have made this function colorful. I express my gratitude to the technical staff, decoration committee, office staff and service staff for their full cooperation and support. Thankfulness is beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is completion of thankfulness. At this juncture, I would like to place on record our gratefulness to all the wonderful people like Gnani, Shivakumar, Mr. Sundarajan, Mr. Rajan, Mr. Olivanan and others who were with us from the time of planning. I thank one and all. Thank you.
The next session will start immediately, so please stay where you are. Tamil teachers who have registered for the Tamil session may go to the Indira Gandhi auditorium. Thank you. Students, don't disperse. Remain in your place. Hridaya of Standard 11, you are wanted immediately. Hridaya of Standard 11.